feel it.
I just pinched it off there. Nice. Yeah. All right. Calvin loves me. Sorry, cleavage. Nice. All right. Well, we're going to get into our new asset. Thank you, Susan. That's awesome. Would anybody like a drink?
Or I had like 10 glasses.
All right, we've got our new series starting tonight, which is going to be cool over the next few weeks. The series is called Say What?
Say what?
Say what?
Say what?
Yeah, so this saying is a pretty cool one. Mary says it a lot, you know, when I ask her something and she doesn't hear me and she goes, say what? So everyone goes, what? And she goes, what? And we go, what? So it's a good way to stir her, you know. But tonight, if you need to or want to take notes, that's fine, use your phone. Please don't be distracting others by going and Snapchatting and Facebooking and all that crap. Tonight, please, the series is about, really at the end of the day, is about communication. And one of the toughest things with communicating with people is we struggle with what do we say, how do we say it, what are people going to think of us once we start talking to them. We get awkward. Sometimes we get into new environments, and some of you might have felt that, like what Holly was sharing there, is you come to a new environment and you can kind of get that feeling in your stomach, oh, I'm going to vom, you know, and like, will they accept me, what will I say, and you know, and then you walk away from those nights, and I've done this many times. I've been in new environments, and I walk away from those nights thinking, who was that person, like me? Who was that me there? Because it wasn't like who me is, you know. I'm like this outgoing kind of person. I like including people, and here I was in this certain environment, and I was quiet and restrained and didn't really engage with a lot of people, didn't really want to know. Does anybody sort of do that sort of thing when you get into new environments? Yeah, you sort of freak out a bit and think. And sometimes I do that deliberately because I'm sussing it out, you know. I'm sussing out whether I don't want to put too much out there in case people judge me. And I don't want to put too much out there in case maybe they might not like me. And I couldn't handle the rejection of that, yeah?
People are different in different environments.
Yeah.
At school you could be nerdy, at here you can be like the cool kid, and
yeah.
Depending where you are, you're always changing.
I love it. You know, years ago when I was at school, nerds were picked on, you know, what you would call nerds, you know. Now, nerds are cool, yeah? Who's a nerd?
Harry Potter mostly.
Yeah, Harry Potter mostly.
You ask me anything about space, I'll probably be
Yeah, my eldest son I think's a pretty cool guy, and he would call himself a nerd, a gamer, you know, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. I love nerdy people because they're smart, you know, and they know stuff, and they're good, you know, at that. I just get sick when I watch those games. I start to vom when I sort of going through a COD, and it's like, you know, over those mountain undulations and stuff. It's just like, you know, yeah. That makes me want to bomb. So tonight we're going to start this series. I'm going to give you a little sort of the tops of the waves of some of the weeks we're going to be covering. We've got some exciting stuff. Some of the guys that are going to be sharing over the next few weeks got some cool stuff to share with you. But at the end of the day, the asset time is really to add value to you, right? Or you might know somebody that struggles in this sort of space, and you might be able to take the information that we learnt here and be able to help them, give them that advice. Also, we upload it to our YouTube page, to our Facebook. Do we load it on Facebook as well, boss? Yeah. So we load it to our Facebook page. We load it on our YouTube channel. So if you ever need to revisit any of the assets, you can go through it and go, oh, you need to watch this if you've got a friend that's struggling with, you know, that sort of space of communication. And so, so tonight I'm going to be dealing with what we call verbal and non-verbal communication. Do you know the difference?
Yep.
Right, what's the difference?
Verbal is when you speak it, and non-verbal can be through body movements and just the aura you have around you. Right,
so I met this guy last year who was a body language specialist. Don't you love meeting those people?
Yes.
Oh, fun times.
Fun times. So I was, you know, introduced, and he judged me from the way I shook my hand to the way I said, oh yeah, okay. And he says, why are you blocking me? I said, what are you talking about, man? If I was blocking you, dude, you'd know about it, you know? And he says, well, you're blocking because your body language is like this, you know. So if you're sitting comfortably and you've got your arms crossed and your legs crossed, that means buzz off, you know. It means you've got nothing to tell me, nothing to say. And what you do is you nod like this.
What if you're just cold?
Yeah, I know, right? Now, I got a little tummy, so I like to rest it, you know. So if I was pregnant, that would be my baby tummy, you
You
know.
also have kind of a blocky build that makes you more like... It's like, not in a bad way.
Keep going, lady!
It just means like you have square shoulders.
Yeah, I do.
You look a bit
Yeah, I've got that big V shape going on here. In my dreams. You're communicating beautifully with me right now. Keep going, I'm loving it.
No, I didn't mean it in a bad way.
No,
It's
no.
like, the way you present yourself is very confident, and in my opinion, through what I've seen, people that are confident can be a bit more like, more sharp and
Sure.
more like straighter edges and stuff. That's what I meant by blocky.
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely. I'm very blocky. I'm an extra lovable block, you know, but I love it. No, I know, darling, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm a thicker set individual, so and that's good. So tonight, what I want to talk to you a little bit about is how many of you like chicken schnitzel?
yeah,
Chicken schnitzel.
and gravy.
Hang on, we're just talking schnitz right now. We're not adding gravy. We're just talking the schnitz, all right? The chick schnitz, everybody? Chick schnitz, all right? If you're a vegan, what would that be? Tofu schnitz? I don't know what that would be. What would a vegan be as a chicken schnitzel?
Who cares about vegan?
I care about the vegan. I got a friend of mine the other day that said they're a part-time vegan. I said,
How?
what even is that? You know?
Veggie burger.
Veggie burger-ish if it didn't have a whole lot of things in it.
Yeah.
So, now, who prefers, so it will be your left hand. So your left hand if you're a chicken schnitzel person, but if you prefer the chicken parma, it's a right hand.
Oh, it's a straight right.
Is this a question? Are you sure I'm not?
All right. So I got. This is a legit question.
I have my hand in the L just so you know.
What does that mean?
L for left hand, which is chicken schnitzel.
Schnitzels. All right. Okay. So this is how it is. Verbal communication is just like chicken schnitzel. It's just like schnitzy, you know? It's just chicken schnitzel. When we add body language, when we add tone, when we add those eye movements, facial movements, that's like adding the sauce and the ham and the cheese. And if you do schnitzies like me, a big round of pineapple.
Oh my god.
That becomes a tropical chicken parma. Ooh. Oh, I'm so hungry right now. Anyway, so stop drooling, Josh Baldry. So, now, if you're a steak eater,
No.
who just eats the steak, what they call blue, which is like. So I was out with a friend the other week, and he says I just like a blue steak, and I said, is that like, why don't you just go and bite the cow as it walks past? So a blue steak is just where it hits the fry pan for about 30 seconds to a minute either side, and then they serve it.
So it's technically raw.
That's what
Technically.
that's what they do in ads for like when they're making the burger patties and stuff in ads. They just do it
Yeah,
that
nah.
way.
So I said to the lady behind the counter, look, I'll have a chicken parma, and for my friend, he's going to have a steak, but he wants it in this. She goes, blue? And I said, yeah. She goes, the only way to have it. I said, you and him are sick individuals. You know?
Oh. Agreed.
But a steak is not complete unless you have what?
Barbecue sauce.
Chips.
Barbecue sauce, chips, gravy, mushroom sauce, on that all over.
Mashed potatoes.
So we were out with a bunch of us the other night after the swimming thing, the beach, and we had the guys behind the counter. Susan and I were there, and we had steak and chips and a triple portion of gravy and mushroom sauce because they forgot. They thought that they had doubled up or something. So, are you squirting people with a? All right. All right. So back here. Don't worry about those two. If you hear the crash, it's all good. So our body language. So let's take that outside at the end. So for those of you watching this evening, somebody just got drowned in a whole lot of water. It's a warm night, and they were just bathing them with some water. Lovely. Good night. Good night. Good night. All right. So here's the challenge. sometimes I need a few volunteers. I need 3 volunteers. All right.
You know how much?
Yep.
Yes.
You two, we'll go 3, and then we'll come back to you for the next one. 3 up the front.
Okay.
Now, what I want to do is each of you, you're not allowed to communicate with one another or touch one another, right? Now, what I want you to do is think of an emotion, but you're going to communicate it without speaking, and you're going to use your body language, right? And we're going to guess it, so, right?
Wait, do we do faces as well?
Well, hopefully you do faces, you know, but I want you to step forward, just one at a time. Just you come forward. You come first.
You can go.
Have you got one?
Yeah.
You're coming first. Now, we're going to try and assume what this body language is saying to us, all right?
Okay, tell me when I can go.
You can go.
Depressed.
Mad.
Angry.
Angry it is.
Autistic anger.
Autistic anger. I was going to say huffy, spat the dummy, you know, whatever it is. All right, step back. Give us another one. Got another one?
She's trying not to.
Gave it away. Yeah, not sad for long. All right, we're saying, was it sad?
It was more nervous,
Shy?
but yeah.
Oh, shy. Yeah, I saw that foot kick. That's usually when you're going on a date. But anyway, come out of here. If you haven't got the...
Happy!
Hey, what have we got?
Yeah, it's happy. So
Oh, happy! No cheating, right.
It was really hard.
Give us some hard ones, right? We wanted like a cryptic one.
Right, just there's a really pretty picture I need to tag. I'm sorry. Bill, I said I needed a pretty picture.
All right. Jeez, we're in control up here. All right, another one. All right, I want another one, a harder one. Come forward.
I'm gonna think, so you
Yeah,
guys do it first.
come forward. Give us one. Right, we're going to guess.
Angry, yeah.
No, we can't have anger twice. You've got to give me another one. Someone said bored. That looked bored to me.
Bored. I don't know what else to
Give us another one.
I can't think of one.
Can't think of one? Right, give us another one here. Quick. A what?
Be an emoji.
What?
Pretend to be an emoji.
How do you be an emoji? There's all kinds of rude emojis out there. All right, what about, here we go. Oh, yeah, are you doing that one? They need to see it.
What? Surprise. OMG.
OMG. I was thinking another acronym. But anyway, come forward.
OMFG.
Oh, okay, that one's on. I was thinking. Anyway.
Cheeky.
Nope.
Struggling through life.
I'm doing the cliche press where you're trying to like force a smile on your face.
Ah,
Smile.
I've seen Beck do that in photos.
I do it whenever I'm around you.
All right, who's got a good one that they can show us? Chloe, show us one. Well, you guys can sit down, clappity clap. Good job, good job. Want to see another one? Got to stand up right there where you are. No point coming down the front. All right, you're going to give us a good one. What is this?
I really want it.
No? Unimpressed? What was it?
It's fairly happy we're really pissed off on the outside.
Oh, right. But you can't show it. Somebody else got a good one? Holly?
Mum, you can't pause it on my game.
Thinking.
I can't see what they're judging.
Really?
It's either thinking or unimpressed. One of the two. What have we got going on here?
Bored.
What are you guessing? Are you serious, face?
That'd be what is going on. Phil, that'd be like.
Yeah. Have we got to do one more? Somebody else got a good one? Who's good at? You got one? What's that one? What's this one?
Are you serious? No, I'm so.
Are you serious?
What is going on?
Oh, what is going on? All right, good stuff.
Serious? No.
So, guys, the challenge for us is there was a study done many years ago about 1967, 1997, something like that, whatever it was. Anyway, who cares? And they talked about this idea of that 15% of communication is verbal, and then there's like 55% is body language and 33% is tone. That was actually, and so a lot of people over the last decades have used this idea that that was actually how it is. It's actually untrue. When you actually do the research on that study, it was done in a very controlled environment. The individuals, there was 30 individuals that were assessed on their body language or communication. They were given 3 words and they were all women. And the interesting part about that is that study after that was taken as like the way we communicate. 15% is verbal and all the rest is either tone or body language. And so it was actually proven to be an untrue kind of perspective. And the guy that actually did the test has come out many times publicly and said, I wish people would stop distorting that particular study of how people communicate, because it actually wasn't about that. And so it's interesting how people took his communication study and miscommunicated it. And it's been like that for probably 30 years. So, and it's a shame. So just people wanted to apply it the way they wanted. And sometimes that's just like it is. Now tonight, some of you may not remember this particular type of mobile phone.
That's my favourite kind. I love those.
Right? This kind of mobile phone is what they call a rotary phone, Why do you call it a rotary phone?
Because you spin it.
Because it's...
And it takes ages for it to get back around, but I love it.
You love it?
Yeah, I want to
the interesting part about this phone is when you went to a phone box and you got 0 in the phone number, it was like OMG. And it was, and it was... It was terrible if you're in a hurry. And then... years ago, you used to have to go through an operating switchboard. So you dial a number, and then the operator would go, what number can I connect you to? And then you'd tell them, and they would connect you to that, and then you'd hit, and then you'd wait there for half an hour until they connected you, right? Until the other person was there. Now, the grouse part about these phones, and any of these rotary phones, or they used to have a touch button, was that its next morph and what have you, is that if you were having an argument with someone, you couldn't just hang up.
Oh no.
You could slam up, And so what happened is this was connected to a particular fibre that if you slammed that phone down on there like that, it sent a ping down the phone line to the person on the other end that came out like a bell ringing. So it was wonderful. And it was a way, because see, the problem with the phones nowadays, is if you're arguing with someone on the phone, what do you do?
Face and make it turn back on the screen, and then click the M button, but it doesn't work until you do it the 10th time.
Well, it doesn't send anything except hangs up. So if you're having an argument with someone, you go, hey! Pop. It's kind of...
You could just hang up,
But
and
when it gets long,
you've hung up and they keep rambling.
But have you ever had someone hang up on you?
Oh God, yeah, my dad did.
I was there!
Do you do this? This is what I've done. Someone hangs up on me. And I go, hello? I think they hung up on me. Like, from this one, they've hung up on you because your ear is still ringing from the ping that's come down the phone. But this one, it kind of creates an unusual uncertainty of like, are we still arguing? And you actually have to pull it away from your ear and look at your phone to see if it's hung up. Did you do that? You go, did that?
I was with him.
And then you decide, were they in a no reception area or did they really just hang up on me? So what do? You ring them back. Now if you've slammed down this thing on top of someone and it sent a ping down, you ain't ringing back. When you do this, creates question. So the interesting part about communication styles over the years, get rid of that ball. He's communicating, play with me.
Play for play!
Mum, it's so much fun. That's just Calvin playing with the ball.
Wake up in the morning with his toys all around you.
Yeah, I do. So here's the thing. The challenge for us is quite simply, is that this old style of communication really let you know your true emotion. I don't know if you've ever received a text message and you might have been in a bit of an emotional space and you read that text and you go, what the? And that person's just sent you, have you ever got one of those? Yeah. Where you go, what does that mean? Have you ever misread a text message?
Yes.
And then you reply and they go, what the hell? I was just... the grouse part about standing up the front is some of you look at one another and go, You do that without communicating. Or a squeeze. That was you, baby, last night. So, the challenge for us, guys, in this series... Bring it back. The challenge for us in this series is that all of us communicate in a different way. And some of the verbal ways that we communicate can just be like the old rotary phone. It's sharp, it sends a message to people that's just kind of like this slam of your emotions, of your feelings, of your perspective, your opinion about something. It's just like a fair income slam. Now there's other people where they're a bit like this, where you're communicating to them and you feel a bit orcs. You feel a bit uncertain. I think we're friends. I don't know if we're friends. Let me check my Facebook. Let me check my Snapchat. Have they sent me Have they sent me stuff? You know, am I friends? Shall I add them or not add them on Snapchat? Now, I got 2 people come up on my Snapchat the other day, and I accepted them thinking that they had just asked me. Was that you, Susan? I think. 3 months. So she sent it to me 3 months ago, but it just popped up as like, I said, Susan's requesting me on Snapchat. I'll just accept that. She goes, that's exactly what she said. About time. Now I'm thinking. Now instantly I went delete. I was about to go. She said, no, I just thought it just came up, so I just went accept. Susan's been festering for 3 months. Why doesn't he accept my Snapchat? And that's exactly how we can get. Our communication, we are so fragile sometimes as humans. Our emotions and our feelings can be so eggshelly at times that we kind of feel like if someone was just to slightly tap it, it might just crack who we are and everything just comes pouring out. Others need a good slam down like that, to communicate what's going on. They call that type of communication a high D personality, dominant personality, blunt. Don't really take all the emotions into it, just kind of say it how it is. How many of you are high D personalities?
What? I'm
high D. That means you just don't care about what anybody thinks, you just kind of say it as it is and then roll it out. Now, I've got a friend of mine. Now, a friend of mine, he cannot process the emotion. He just goes, his verbal communication, there's a lot. He speaks a lot. And he does this thing where someone will start talking to him and he's already interpreted the sentence before they finish it.
Same.
So they'll say, oh yeah, what I think about that. And he'll go, yeah, no. But the way that we do this is like that. And you can see the person's body language shift right in that moment. What do you reckon it shifts to?
confusion. Uncomfortable.
Defensive? Sometimes it shifts to almost disrespect or dislike, because that person has cut them off and they're interpreting what they've said in that first part of the sentence. Have you ever had that in a friendship or in a relationship where somebody just talks right, you start saying something, they talk right over the top of you and you go to them, I wish you wouldn't do that.
Yep.
I'm not looking. Right?
It's the other way around sometimes. I haven't accidentally talked over a few people, but sometimes you can't help it. But if there's someone who actually purposely does it,
Yeah. So I've met several people in my life, and I think at times I've probably been guilty too. I think I know what that person's going to say, so I'm already answering it. So I'm not actually listening to them. I'm more concerned about what I've got to say. Now, the challenge in communication, and the simple equation I want you to see is the word communication, then an equal sign, and then the word connection. Communication equals connection. Bad communication equals disconnect. Good communication equals connection. If you're not connecting with someone, it's because the language that you're using or the communication style that you're using is either like the old rotary phone that just creates this incredible signal that goes towards that person that makes you what they call abrasive. It makes you kind of, Does that mean that you're unfriendable?
no, not necessarily.
No. This guy that I know is a high D personality. I'm good friends with him. I get his personality. I get it. I totally understand how he's wired. What I can do is help him understand in certain environments, probably not a good way of communicating. So guys, the challenge for us in our families, with our friends, and in this Say What kind of series is that we need to be able to communicate and learn to communicate in different ways. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at a couple of things. If you've never done the study of love language, how you learn to love and how you get your love messages, one of our guys is going to be speaking about the love languages, which is going to be an awesome night. I learnt this years ago, and it was so helpful for me as a bloke to understand and just get comfortable with the fact of how I can be shown love and how I show other people love. There's two different ways it goes. It's not always the same, boys. We're going to be talking about coded language. It's a bit like when my dad used to come home and go, "It's bin night." He would just say that in the family, "It's bin night." Or, "There's a lot of dishes in the sink." Or, "The bins are overflowing." Or, "There's dog turd in the backyard." I used to get him a cape and say, "Captain Obvious," you know. So it's because it's called coded language. We're going to talk about how that can be very manipulative. We're going to talk about how we use silence. Have you ever used silence as a way of getting a good response? Yeah, I use it all the time. And what fear can do, we're going to be talking about closed. If you find it difficult to communicate to people, we're going to share a few ideas about what we call closed questions, closed communication, and open communications. One that helps you, going to give you a few phrases that when you meet someone new, we're going to give you 5 or 6 different kind of phrases that will help you in keeping a conversation rolling forward. Because I don't know about you, but that first time you meet someone, it's kind of like, oh, and then I walk away feeling like I should have said a lot more, could have said a lot more. They don't know, oh, did they think I was a weirdo, blah, blah, blah. So guys, over this 5 or 6 weeks, we might take a little bit longer, we want to help you communicate and connect better. So guys, tonight, we're just starting the series about that. If you're not communicating on the Facebook group, if you haven't got Facebook, tell your team, your tribe captains, your tribal leaders who hasn't got Facebook, so they can communicate with you differently. And we want to make
3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Good evening everybody and welcome to Bridge Builders News. I'm your host Jimmy Lee of the Golden Gladiators, and I'm joined tonight by our favourite news guy, Tyler Grief. We'll be guiding you through the events of this evening. So tonight was our very first WBAB session of this year to welcome all our new members to the team. So let's give them a warm welcome. Big round of applause to our new members. Woo woo! Nice work guys. Welcome to the team. Everyone, do them a favour, make them feel nice and welcome. Include them, go and introduce yourself. Let's get them known. For the next section of the news, I'd like to welcome Tyler.
So thanks for that pass over there, James. Now, as I said last week, I was going to talk more about the Ballroom Cabaret this week, and here I am this week to talk more about the Ballroom Cabaret. What you'll have included for the entry price of $70 is a 3-course meal, 2 floor shows, and dancing. So that's just nice. It's a nice little, let's say, peek. It's a nice peek at what you'll be able to get for that event. Sure, there'll be much more, but that's to be revealed on the night. There'll be a surprise act as well by a couple of world, or at least Australian famous magicians. So hopefully you can get along that, and you know, I'm sure Braden, if you're in the room, you might enjoy that. Last thing to mention about the night is it's an over 18s event only, and it's BYO drinks as well. So if you want to drinks, BYO. If you're under 18, you can't go. Sorry. Anyway, back to you now, James.
Thanks for that, Tyler. Now for our new members this week that we've just welcomed to the Bridge Builders team, we decided our new tribes for 2018 just last week, and we have the Golden Gladiators and the Red Warriors. So get excited for that, guys. We're going to be playing a couple of games on Monday nights throughout the year, and make sure you're participating for your team to win some points. Back to you for the beach day, Tyler.
So as I'm sure a lot of you were aware, we had our beach day on this last Saturday, and you know, here's our lovely lanyard that we had for the day to simplify that you were at the event, had all sorts of useful information on the back. But without any further ado, let's show you a couple videos and or clips from the day. Anyway, with those clips out of the way, it comes to time to end the news for this week. So I hope you've all enjoyed, you know, whatever's gone on this week. I can't say for certain what's happening. This bit was actually filmed first. So, without further ado, I'll see you in the room tonight.
Au revoir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Jimmy Lee of the Golden Gladiators, and I'm joined by Mr. Tyler Hull. I'm suffering. Over there is a blood wed. Oh God. I feel like Johnny English.